Hey, there's an old saying, if it ain't broke, then don't fix it. Hello, I'm Mike Bain from Christian Voice New Zealand. Now, in a moment, let's discuss what is and isn't broken. Okay, I must admit it. I'm over it. I'm fed up with pussyfooting around people who easily take too much offence and then want to persecute me because I don't agree with them or their lifestyle or even submit to their victim mentality. I'm over it. Yep, to be honest, New Zealand is our country, it's our home, and I don't see why we must submit to the pressure to speak and think differently. Being brought up in a family of 7, including mum and dad on the Tirade plains, we enjoyed a freedom which would make today's helicopter parents spin out of control while others would judge our mum and dad as uncaring. Now, I'm just over being told how I should live my life. Over people telling my kids how to bring up my grandchildren. Certainly over COVID. I'm over walking on eggshells in case I offend someone or some group. I'm over having a one-sided discussion with people who think that they're right. I'm over being labelled as the devil incarnate because I'm an older white-haired male. I'm over being held responsible for the world's problems because my generation was a boomer. And I'm over people telling me that 2 + 2 = 5. I'm over men feeling they want to be like a woman. I'm over girls who basically want to be men. I'm over hearing parents grizzling but go along with the nonsense and social engineering their children are undergoing. I'll tell you what, I'm well and truly over having tirade rammed down my throat every time I turn the TV on, particularly by a girl who doesn't speak English very well. I'm over people making things try to look normal for their unacceptable behaviour so that it looks normal. And while I'm on a roll, I'm over the domination of the Crusaders in Super Rugby, so go the Chiefs. But most of all, I'm over those who have manipulated the way New Zealanders act, think and speak. Now, I'd bet there's lots of other things that you're over with. So let's you and I just push back on this wave which is overtaking our culture. I don't know if you've noted how now we must speak differently because the words we grew up with have many meanings, and if you use them in the wrong way, well, all hell breaks loose and suddenly you're being ordered to attend an attitude correction course. So how many of you woke up this morning, for example, standing in front of the mirror, looked at yourself thinking, that person's a bigot, a homophobe, a racist, a redneck? It may not have even made a dent in your consciousness, but don't panic. There's bound to be some politically correct woke person who's going to point these out to your attention. But by the time you come home tonight, I'm sure you would have attracted some other slur which will be attributed to your character. But New Zealand is not the same country anymore. It's changed. And it's been so quick that no one really has noticed. You know, it wasn't that long ago parents were allowed to enter children's classrooms at the end of the day to pick up their kids, have a natter with the teacher and other parents to arrange things like play dates, birthday parties, etc. Well, now they're not even allowed on the school grounds. But why? It's because our teachers are being forced to indoctrinate, brainwash, inculcate, groom our children's minds to make them more aware of what's happening in the world and their sexuality. Adolf Hitler in June of 1933 claimed, if the older generation cannot get accustomed to us, we'll take their children away from them and rear them as needful to the fatherland. Not much has changed. For years, though, we've taught our kids to stay away from the bogeyman. Now it's the bogeyman who's in front of the class. So here we go. I'm not allowed to call him a man because he may not be. He may think he's something else, a tranny, a drag queen, a paedophile, or he may be confused. And if he is, why is he doing the same thing to your children? Now this nonsense of gender education and drag queens in schools needs to stop. School is supposed to be a safe place where you send your children to learn the basics in life. And the school system, well, it's failing badly because they're so strung up on teaching that alphabet agenda brought about by the LGBTQ+I group. But politicians, you know, they can huff and puff all they like, but the moment they allowed your school, your children, to be overtaken by the alphabet mafia, then that's wrong. Now, by stealth, these people have infiltrated both business and entertainment with their rainbow washing. We need to resist this agenda as it's permeating into all facets of life. But we have no choice to become submissive. Submission comes in many forms when the population can be manipulated. Let me just give you one example. Here's a couple of pictures. The police, our defenders of freedom, have succumbed to the woke culture. There we see a police car with the rainbow signage. And then here's how the police sign themselves out, as the police and a Maori name. We now have government departments who are just as confused as either that or they just don't want people to know who they are to stop you and I being negative about them. That's why they no longer have English names, I'm sure. Winston Peters said that the Maorification of New Zealand has got to stop. I don't know if you remember the old song, "This land is your land, now your land is my land." Well, the song was about everyone working together. Now my land really is your land. Doesn't matter if you paid for it or not. If they want it, they'll take it. Yes, it's a bit of a rant today, but let's not pussyfoot around the issues. The alphabet mafia might be confused as to who they are, but we're not. The indigenous people of New Zealand may think that they're victims of colonisation. To them I say, get over it. If you live in the past, your people will never move forward. Now, I've no issue with the teaching of tirade, but I do when they get upset, because someone has a go at a Maori word and they stuff it up. Likewise, those of European descent, well, we should insist that Maori speaks good and proper English. What of the new migrants coming into our country? We need to get over thinking of them as strangers. Now, some of these people have chosen New Zealand as their home, just like your forefathers did, and they work hard and long hours to eke out a living. They pay taxes and they work to make this a great country. Statistically, their numbers are growing. Maybe it's just because they're not too lazy to fill out their census papers. And maybe it's the reason they get better services and healthcare. Statistically, their numbers are growing. Maybe it's just because they're not too lazy to fill out their census papers. Unlike the 40% of a population who expects everything, wants everything, but we're not filling out the census papers. But anyway, we move on. But statistically, these newcomers aren't huge in the judicial statistics. Look at all the business and health professionals who have studied hard and chosen to come here. New Zealand was and could be the great country it was. We, and that is all of us, need to work together to make this country great again. Oh, grief, I'm starting to sound like Trump. If I start to look like him, I've got a problem. But it's true. We need to be united in the goal, because if we cannot, we remain divided. And as history shows us, a divided nation will fall. Now, I say this without any fear because I'm concerned about my neighbour. Did Jesus not give us a new commandment to not only love our neighbour, but to love each other as he has loved us? Realistically, though, some people make it difficult to love them, let alone like them or even tolerate them. I stand today and I say there are a lot of people in this world whose attitudes, convictions, religion, lifestyles and choices some of them make, I accept. I'm not going to agree with them. And I agree they will not fully agree with me. Now, I don't hate them personally, but I can't stand by idly tolerating the intolerable. On Twitter recently, someone posted these words. Once I would be prepared to lay down my life to protect my family and country from evil. But today, I find myself having to lay down my life to protect my family from this country. So to those who are dividing our country and to those who are using our children's minds to promote their despicable cause and lifestyle, then I say to you, you're no longer welcome in my country. I do not intend to give up everything I valued, everything my parents and those before me worked for, even fought and died so that this division could take place. My friends, the time has come to stand up and push back from the darkness which is enveloping this land. To those who are not satisfied with New Zealand being a multi-ethnic country with all its richness, a country united in its dreams, its aspirations and its moral fibre and its direction, to you I say, log on to the Air New Zealand website. I'm sure there's a flight leaving New Zealand soon.